This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go!
You're listening to the Emerald Flow Show on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 30 of the Emerald Flow Show. We're a podcast on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. You can follow us on Twitter at Emerald Flow Show, and the podcast is available on all major podcasting platforms. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, and you can go to voicesofwrestling.com/donate to donate to the podcast if you're feeling generous. I'm Gerard DeTroglio here with Paul Vosh. Paul, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Gerard. I'm actually currently looking at flights to Japan for the end of the year.
Oh, are you going to be at the big year-end All Japan show at Yoyogi?
Wait, when is that one?
I think it's on the 31st.
31st. Oh, I might actually make that one, yeah. Because I was definitely aiming for the Noah New Year show and obviously Wrestle Kingdom, and the New Year was for All Japan. But if that is on the 31st, then I'm actually going to make that one. So I can add that to the trip as well.
Yeah. I'm just getting through what I think was COVID, which I finally caught after nearly 3 years.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah. One of the things is, like, because I hadn't caught COVID in the nearly 3 years, I hadn't been sick at all. Like, nothing else. No flu, no cold. So, like, we're probably going on closer to 4 years since I've actually been sick with anything. And finally being sick again is not fun.
Yeah, I was about to say, that it sounds like a good thing. I haven't been sick in 4 years. I also think I had like a very mild form of it, like last year or whatever. But I also got like a proper sinus infection, and yeah, let me tell you that was also the first time since like 2020 that I got one, and I was like, oh yeah, this sucks. This is awful. So yeah, no, I can understand why you're like, yeah, no, I'm probably happier without having caught like any kind of infection.
I mean, I don't know for sure. I kept testing negative, but like started with the sore throat and my taste was gone for a bit. So I'm just assuming it was. Yeah. But it really...
no, that's how it went for me as well. Like I tested negative, but then I had like all of the symptoms like in a pretty mild form, and then it went away after a couple of days.
Yeah, it's just basically a bad cold. But
yeah.
So I'm going to try not to hack up, have my hand hovering over the mute button, but I'm almost, I'd say maybe 85% now, so I'm good to go on the podcast. Paul, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. A lot has been happening.
A lot of things have been happening. So we're going to start over with All Japan Pro Wrestling with their Excite series 2023 at the Esforda Arena Hachioji Sub-Arena, which is out like way on the western edge of Tokyo Metropolis. They drew 1,398 fans, which I think is a pretty good number, all things considered.
Yeah. The building looked pretty full. Like, I couldn't really see any empty seats. I mean, it might just be that they set up seats based on how many people bought tickets. But, like, for example, in the bleachers looked full as well. So.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, success from that end. And so we started off with Shotaro Ashino and Ryuki Honda defeated Dan Tamura and Hikaru Sato in 7 minutes and 48 seconds with the final vent from Honda on Tamura. I think this is sort of getting Gungnir of Anarchy back into contention for the tag titles. I mean, it was a good little opener. I mean, you could argue it was too short, but I think we're getting a challenge from them to regain the titles sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what's happening here as well. Actually, one random thought I had while watching this match is, should Dan Tamura change his hair color? Because didn't he like dye his hair blonde to like emulate Suwama in the first place?
Should he go back to the red mohawk?
Yeah. Or something completely different?
Yeah. I don't know. I think he looks fine with that.
I don't know. For some reason, I just thought in this match that he just looks like a mini Suwama, which was the point originally, but feels a bit weird now.
Mm-hmm. And next up, we had Takao Omori and Masao Inoue, Rising Hayato and Oji Shiba defeating Black Mensa Ray, Riki Fuji, Reijin Yaguchi, and Sushi in 9 minutes and 40 seconds when Hayato pinned Sushi with the Sid Vicious. I thought this was like not as bad as I thought it could have been. It was fine. Riki Fuji, who had a stroke last year, didn't do anything, though, really.
No, I mean, he looked good for a guy that had a stroke last year, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He didn't look good, but he looked good for a guy that very much shouldn't be wrestling.
Yep. So that was sort of the, I guess, comedy match of the show.
Yeah.
Next up...
And, Yaguchi was there because Onita was on the show, basically.
Yeah, he follows Onita everywhere. And so it's a guaranteed booking. Next up, Naruki Doi and Hokuto Omori defeated Naoya Nomura and Ryo Inoue in 8 minutes and 17 seconds with a Bakatare sliding kick from Doi on Inoue. I thought this was great. And I thought the finishing sequence between Inoue and Doi rocked.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
Inoue continues to impress, and this little faction of Minoru Suzuki, Doi, and Hokuto is pretty great, actually.
Yeah, but still hasn't gotten a name. Like I said, I don't expect it to be that it's a crossover faction with New Japan, and it turns out that this is all just like Strong Style, which is what the new faction of Suzuki, Despi, and Ren Narita is called. But it would fit. Like, they all still have kind of the same gear color as well. But yeah, we'll see if we eventually get like the actual name for the faction as well. But yeah, as you said, I also thought like the finishing sequence between Inoue and Doi like really rocked as well. Like, I thought like this wasn't just a Doi carry drop. Like, Inoue really like held his own here as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm actually really excited to see a match between these two when Inoue is like no longer a young boy and they can like do an actual match.
Yeah. Next up, in a Tornado Bunkhouse Current Blast death match for the All Asia Tag Team Championship, Atsushi Onita and Yoshitatsu defeated Nosawa Rongai and Kendo Kashin in 9 minutes and 13 seconds when Onita pinned Nosawa after a current blast hit from the bat. Paul, I gotta say, considering that Nosawa and Kashin were involved in a worst match of the year contender last month to win the titles, this was okay for what it was.
Yeah, this exceeded expectations.
I guess you can say that
a lot.
I mean, this is not a
because I expected this to be horrible and it wasn't.
Well, no, because it was basically Onita giving Nosawa lots of unprotected weapon shots to the head too.
Yeah, that's really the only reason why this worked, because this was essentially more like an Onita and Nosawa singles match. Did Yoshitatsu ever actually tag in? I'm trying to remember if there's anything that he did
I
here.
can barely remember anything Yoshitatsu did in this match.
Yeah, I remember a little bit Kashin doing stuff, but I don't remember anything Yoshitatsu did. So yeah, this was just basically Nosawa was just if you want to beat me, you have to kill me, old man. And Onita just being okay, then I will kill you. And just when he just repeatedly just hit him over the head with just the just completely dissipating like table pieces. And Nosawa's just kind of standing there and just taking it. That was actually a ton of fun.
Yeah, and now this was in the media like a day or two ago. Like Onita's like, don't retire Nosawa. I want to have another match for the All Asia Tag Titles. So
I don't know. If I'm Nosawa after this match, one thing I always like think about when I'm watching these kind of current blast death matches is like it has to like suck so much to take one of these bats, because you basically just take like a small explosion to the face.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the mechanics are. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's obviously not super harmful, but like it's still like you take essentially like a small firework explosion to the face.
Yeah,
like. It sucks.
If no,
like I remember like a few years back when Suwama and Onita did one of these, and I remember like watching like the YouTube highlights of that, and you can just like if you like watch that video like slowly, you can just pinpoint the moment where Suwama realizes that it was a bad idea for him to agree to this match.
Yeah, so that was completely passable. The crowd did get into Onita by the end, of course. It's Onita.
Yeah.
So
one thing I have to say though, like obviously like Muto has no knees and all of that, but his shining wizard still looks 10 times more devastating than Onita's stunners do.
Oh my god.
Like those are just actually sad.
Yeah. Because obviously Onita has like knee issues too.
Yeah.
So yeah, those look like they couldn't hurt a 90-year-old.
No, those literally like always look like the guy is just actually leaning over to make them work in any way.
This is Steve Austin giving Vince McMahon a stunner at the last WrestleMania level almost.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. And then next up we have Yuji Nagata, Shuji Ishikawa, and Yuma Anzai defeated Suwama, Jun Saito, and Rei Saito of Voodoo Murders in 13 minutes and 47 seconds when Nagata pinned Suwama with a backdrop hold. This was actually kind of good. Because, with Voodoo Murders, it could go either good or it could go shit. And, of course, there's this whole, like, ongoing, like, Suwama versus the Saitos going on at the same time.
Yeah, how much longer do we think that keeps going? It's just, at this point, I guess until the Ota Ward show, right? It has to.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was a chance that Suwama would not be Voodoo Murders at the Dome, but I think he...
No, I don't think...
Yeah, I think he's going to be.
I think we're past that point, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but otherwise, like, aside from that endless storyline, I also thought this was a really good match as well. I thought like Suwama like kind of worked his ass off here as well. Just I thought like he was really like the guy that kind of stood out to me in the match.
Yeah, when he wants to try, he still doesn't do stupid shit in the match. He's still good, very good, I think.
Yeah. No. And so I guess so then Nagata will be the next challenger then.
Yeah. Next up for the PWF World Junior Heavyweight Championship, Atsuki Aoyagi defeated Kotaro Suzuki in 12 minutes and 4 seconds with a Firebird Splash to make his 5th successful defense of the title. This rocked.
Yeah, no, this was awesome. I thought we both went into this match having really high expectations, and I think it very much delivered on those expectations as well. Like I would say this was his best title defense. Like, I thought this was really good, and I think this is, like, my favorite Kotaro Suzuki match since his title defense against Hao, like, 2 years ago at this point. I don't remember how long ago that was.
Actually, I think the Rising Haido match was better, but this would be the second best.
Yeah. No, this was just great. Like, I thought just, like, Suzuki was just like to me is like kind of like the perfect guy for like Atsuki to face right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think they have like somewhat like similar styles in some ways. So, well, obviously Aoyagi being like a lot more of a high flyer, but I think like Suzuki is like the perfect guy for him to like learn things off from as well.
Yeah, and Suzuki was like gung ho in putting the young guy over too. So
yeah,
and then after.
And also like, did you see kind of the crowd like giving him like a lot of respect after the match as well?
Yeah, definitely. And then after the match, Naruki Doi attacked Atsuki and challenged for the title, and that's going to come up soon, and we'll talk about that next show in a minute.
Heel Doi is so good.
Yep.
It's just so much fun, and I have very much predictions about that match.
And in the main event for the Triple Crown, Kento Miyahara defeated Yuma Aoyagi in 28 minutes and 10 seconds with a shutdown German suplex hold to make his fourth defense in his current run with the title. This was awesome, I think. I think this is the best All Japan match so far this year. I know we're only in February, but there have been a number of really great matches in All Japan this year that have been getting a lot of attention, I should say, as well, much more so than in previous years. I think it's a mix of things are, starting to improve in the booking, and Naoya Nomura returning and everything like that. This match also featured Aoyagi kicking out of the shutdown German, which I don't believe he's ever done before. So I think they continue to sort of plant those seeds of, Yuma eventually beating Kento. And I love the finish. Yuma missed the spin kick, and then Miyahara just charged at him to grab the shutdown German, and I thought that worked really well.
Yeah, because I think to me that kind of showed this wasn't Yuma getting a dominant win over, this wasn't Kento getting a dominant win over Yuma. This was basically just Yuma just misses one move, and then Kento just immediately capitalizes on it and just immediately just goes for the shutdown to put him away. I also like that that it actually kind of looked a bit sloppy as well, because I think that just added to the desperation of the move. So I thought, to me, the next time these two have a Triple Crown match, it is going to be Yuma beating Kento.
Yeah,
the next time they have a title
I
match.
know people didn't like this and were not happy that he won. And I was a little skeptical of going back to it this soon, but I thought it really turned out very well.
Yeah. And, to be quite honest, to me, the match was I thought oh yeah, this is a great match, but I've seen these two have better matches. I was yeah, okay. But
no, I think this is the
whatever.
best match they've had.
Because no. Sorry, let me finish. Until Yuma kicked out of the shutdown, because I thought that was the finish.
Oh, okay.
So until that moment, I was I thought these two had better matches, but I thought it was still really great. And then he kicked out the shutdown, and then the whole match just went into a whole nother level after that. Yeah, I agree. To me, this is the best match that All Japan has had this year. But it really went to that next level when he kicked out of it. And I think that's why it's so important that move is so protected all the time. Because when I saw that, I was okay, that's it. That's the end of the match. And then he kicks out, and I lost my mind.
Yeah. I think there's maybe 1 to 2 kickouts of the shutdown German a year. I know. I'm trying to think of people who've kicked out. Naoya Nomura.
I don't think it's that many.
Jake Lee has. Naoya Nomura has.
Yeah.
Has Suwama? Has Ishikawa?
I'm not
I
sure
can't
if
think
Suwama ever has. I think he might have. And I don't know if Zeus ever has. And that's the only people I can think of that even would have.
Yeah. So, still at 1 or 2 times a year, I think that's perfect and very protected still.
Yeah.
And
especially because Yuma has never done it before as well.
Yeah. And then after the match, Yuji Nagata finally came out to challenge again. And that's going to happen this weekend. And we'll talk about that show in a second. And then also, Yuma and Kento seem to be friends again, because Yuma and Atsuki, as well as Rising Hayato, Shuji Ishikawa, Yuma Anzai, and Ryo Inoue came in to sort of form a new sort of Hontai unit that's called All Japan New Era. And they seem to be wanting to defend All Japan against outsiders, which I sort of took not just New Japan, but also Noah. And also great, because they announced on this show, March 18th at Korakuen Hall, it will be All Japan versus Great show. But nothing has been announced yet.
Yeah. I thought that was actually kind of important, because Kento hasn't been a member of the home army ever really. Because from the moment he started his push, he was in Extreme, originally just him and Jake.
Yeah.
And then obviously the original version with him, Jake, Naoya Nomura, and Yuma Aoyagi. and then it kind of whittled down to just Kento, and then it kind of rebuilt itself after that. But like he was always labeled as next stream, like even when it was just down to just him.
Yeah. And
so I like this is an actual like big like change for him.
Yeah, and because he was an Exceed when he joined All Japan, right?
Yeah, and then he was Voodoo Murderers as well.
Hadn't he left by the time he joined All Japan?
Probably, yeah. But he basically went from Exceed to Next Stream more or less directly.
Yeah. So that's a different sort of tact that they're going with that. And I think we'll have more about what exactly that completely means very soon. Also,
do you think they're going to have like a unit dispense or like something like that match with Voodoo Murderers?
I think they could. I think Voodoo Murderers might implode on its own too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sure taking its time to do that.
Yeah. And then, so we go to February 19th at Corrigan Hall. Champion Carnival participants will be announced on the show, Paul. And I, earlier today, sort of took a look at a certain foreigner's Twitter timeline to see if there were any hints that he would be returning. And I'm talking about Cyrus. And he's been tweeting a lot in Japanese.
Interesting.
And he's got some new merch that he was showing off in the last couple of days. And friend of the show, Dr. Jonathan Foy, author of The Muto Years and Gambaru, asked him, are you going to be returning this was at the end of January, you're going to be returning to Japan soon or anytime soon? And he said, very soon. So I'm assuming Cyrus is in the Champion Carnival.
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if he's not. Like, that just makes all the sense in the world after the run that he's had. So, and the fact that like one of the most influential people in the company very clearly loves him.
Yes,
think that really helps him too.
Even though he was probably brought in originally by Tajiri, which is funny.
Yeah,
he was like one of the Tajiri recruit survivor types. Because other foreigners that Tajiri has recruited have been not brought back.
No.
But since we're on the chant,
Gianni Valletta will never get that Triple Crown shot, will he?
No, he won't.
But maybe he'll get a Kyushu Pro title shot.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Didn't he already?
I don't know. I do know that he was brought in for that tag tournament.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Anyway.
But do you have any guesses who else is going to be in the Champion Carnival?
Well, yeah, I was going to get to that. What do you think of... do you think Nagata's in it?
I think there's a really good chance he's going to be in it, and I do think we're going to get like a Noah participant, at least one Noah participant as well.
Yep, I agree.
And I think it's going to be a Congo member.
Yep. Is it Soya or is it a bigger name?
I think it might be Keno.
Yeah?
Like, if we just look at like all of the like stuff they've recently done to like build up that match at the Muto retirement show, like they've kind of shifted it all over to Keno. Like, he is the guy cutting the promos and everything. It's
kind of incredible that Keno has basically taken over this angle, even though all he talks about is Kento and Nakajima.
Yes. Well, he is the best promo out of all of them, so...
Yeah.
Makes some sense, but it's still kind of weird that he's just like, hey, yeah, Kento, don't you hate Nakajima and not me?
Yeah, and he took shots at Yuma as well.
Yeah.
Just being like, oh...
And Yuma has been saying that he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's very possible, too. It also makes sense as to why they're running Oda Ward for the Champion Carnival Finals.
Yeah. Do you think we're getting a great participant as well?
T-Hawk would be my guess.
We've had T-Hawk before.
Yeah, but he's a good...
I mean, I love T-Hawk, but like, if I would rather have someone new instead.
Hayato...
Like someone that hasn't been there before.
Tamura?
That would be a good one. Actually, Izuchi would be a nice one as well.
He's a little small.
He has a lot of talent.
They're going to put someone like Izuchi's size in the Champion Carnival? I know the T-Hawk's a little different, not. I think, because he's an established name.
I mean, I know that he's more doing the UWF stuff, but Takanori Ito would be a nice one.
Yeah, I would absolutely take Ito.
Would also fit the like former Wrestle One connection as well.
Yeah. So so it's 9 block shows and a final show. So I'm guessing 6 to 8 guys per block.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of space in there. Like, but the only other thing that I'm curious about, are there going to be other foreigners on there as well?
I'm gonna lean.
I can't really think of anyone.
I'm gonna lean towards no, but I would love to be surprised. But I don't think it would be someone that has been in All Japan before.
No. And then, I mean, the thing is, like, who is really out there that isn't really signed anywhere as well? That you could bring in.
Well, I have some ideas, but I don't know if like someone like Calvin Tankman.
Oh God, yeah.
I think he would be great in All Japan.
Brian Keefe would be amazing as well.
Is he? How big is Brian Keith?
He's
They're only like most of the foreigners they're bringing in as heavyweights are going to be big.
Yeah, true. Brian Keefe is he is the same. Well, he is 100 kilos, but he is 175 centimeters.
Yeah.
So same size as Nakajima, so probably not.
Yeah, I just think. I mean, yeah, they just love the big. Like if they're bringing in the heavyweights, they love the big guys, which is why I think Tankman would be ideal.
Tankman makes a lot of sense.
But I mean, that's just pure speculation of like, okay, well, who's on the indies that they could probably afford that would fit their size requirements or what they look for in foreigners. So yeah, but that's just absolute pure speculation.
Michael Elgin. Oh God, please no.
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 I mean, he might not even be able to get back into Japan.
No, yeah, I think he's done.
And when he left New Japan, he probably pissed people off. But other companies don't don't poach foreigners that have done dumb shit.
Yeah, especially now that he's done dumb shit with 2 companies.
Yeah, right. So he's a problem in the locker room, and then he, whatever else he did.
Yeah.
So that's a big no. So I wouldn't worry about him.
Yeah.
And then, so the matches on the Korakuen show we've got Hikaru Sato, Dan Tamura, and Oji Shiba versus Kotaro Suzuki, Rising Hayato, and Ryo Inoue is the opening match. I actually have very high expectations for that match.
I mean, it is only an opening match, but that's 6 really good guys in there.
Unfortunately, probably be 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But that would rock if they gave him 12 even. And then next up, Shotaro Ashino, Ryuki Honda, and Masao Hanabata versus Yoshi Tatsu, Raisuke Taguchi, and Master Wato. Poor Gungnir of Anacrate's probably... Well, Hanabata's taking the fall here.
Yeah, probably. But...
Now, did you see...
That New Japan team is rough. I mean, Wato has improved.
Oh, I like Wato now, yeah.
I have no use for Taguchi.
Useless now. He doesn't try. He's a great wrestler when he tries, but he just simply doesn't try anymore.
But that's been
gone
5 years ago at this point?
Well, no, he was having good matches. He would have good best of the Super Juniors up until 2019, but he doesn't even try anymore in those. Because he was still good for 2 or 3 matches a year, but not even that now. And it's that, so... Paul, did you see that Yusuke Kodama has joined a faction in Great with Takanori Ito? And
yes.
Who's the third member?
I don't remember. I actually saw that yesterday on the show, but yeah, it's the Yan family.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but is Kodama out of Gungnir?
What is he, out of All Japan?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, he might be another one of those guys that falls victim to All Japan, bringing in higher paid outsiders basically.
Yeah. This might be strange to say, but if I had to choose between Kodama and Hanabata these days, I'd probably go with Hanabata. I mean, I really like him, and I think he's underrated.
Oh yeah, no. He's also a perfect fall guy as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think he fits the vibe of Gungnir of Anarchy a lot better than Kodama did. Yeah,
because Hanabata actually has an amateur grounded style, whereas Kodama is sort of the outlier stylistically of those guys.
Yeah. So yeah, if it is just a free people thing now, I think that's a better combination, which sounds weird.
Yeah, but I like it, so it'll be good. Next up, we've got Shuji Shikara, Oscar Loibe, and the returning Ren Ayabe finally, who only started wrestling again, I think, in late December. So he was out several months
with his collapsed lung.
With that collapsed lung. They're taking on the team of Takao Omori, Toru Yano, and Black Menso Ray. Paul, who loses here? Because this is sort of interesting. Because like Menso, like you got the team of big, very large men, but one of them's a young lion. But on the other side, you've got Menso Ray, who could, just eat a Shuji Ishikawa running knee or something.
Yeah. Normally I would absolutely say, the Shuji Ishikawa team is winning here. But again, Loibe is a young lion, and young lions always take the fall. So I could see him get, rolled up by Yano or something like that. Or he just eats, a lariat from Omori.
Yep. So that'll be interesting. But I don't think it's impossible that Loibe's team wins either.
Yeah.
But it would be Menso Ray taking the fall.
Yeah. Yes, no. I don't think any of the other two are in any chance they take the fall.
Yeah.
Although the wildest one obviously would be Loibe pins Omori.
Yep. And then next up, we have Voodoo Murder, Suwama, Jun Saito, and Rei Saito versus the Young Lion team of Yuto Nakashima, Ryohei Oiwa, and Kosei Fujita. It will be very interesting to see the Saitos in there against the New Japan Young Lions for sort of just like a
yes.
compare and contrast these wrestlers that all have what? When did all those New Japan, the Saitos are going to be 2 years this summer.
They have comparable, I think, yeah.
And I don't think those other guys have been much longer, which is sort of funny.
Kosei Fujita, yeah, he made his debut in 2021, in August 2021.
Oh, that's right. I think the Saitos were July 2021.
Yeah, so very comparable, length of career.
Paul, what's the chances of one of the young lions pinning a Saito here?
So they're not zero, surprisingly, I would say.
No, especially
I think it's still very likely that...
Okay, Suwama gives Ray a lariat because he's pissed at him. And then Oiwa rolls him up, or Fujita.
Yeah.
Or probably not.
Without the whole storyline, I think the chance is zero. But with the whole storyline, I think they actually have a small chance.
Actually, Suwama lariats Ray or June, and then Nakashima pins one of them, because also I think we're going to Anzai versus Nakashima at some point. Mm-hmm. So I think that would make sense. But I'm still gonna assume Voodoo Murders wins.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's Uiva eats a backdrop suplex.
Yeah.
And
it'll be Suwama pinning.
But yeah, with the whole storyline going on, there's a small off chance there.
Yeah. And next up, this was just announced a couple of days ago, and it's quite the surprise because I think he was originally announced for Battle in the Valley, but he was pulled from the show for unknown reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
had to make more time for money.
Yeah. So anyway, we're getting Shingo Takagi versus Yuma Anzai, and it's gonna rock.
Yes.
I would assume at this point, because I know they've thrown in I think of that Minoru Suzuki match that Anzai had, but they're gonna give him at least 10 minutes, right? I hope.
Yeah. No. I don't think this is gonna be a squash. I think that has a decent chance to get because they just for a young boy, Yuma Anzai is just very heavily protected.
Yeah.
So even if he loses, he generally gets a decent amount of time. So I think this has a very good chance to actually go a good little while, 10 minutes. I think that's a realistic chance for this one. This also has the potential to be Yuma's best match as well.
Absolutely.
So far,
I think Anzai's best singles match so far was that one against Ishikawa.
Yeah.
And I think that could top this if they actually get 10 minutes.
Yeah, no. But I think, he can, he's going to, bump his ass up for Shingo here.
Now, I mean, it could just be Shingo hyping it up, but he says, it's Shingo in his tweet, when he quote tweeted this announcement, he's like, who's the Triple Crown champion right now? Now, do you think this is just a one-off because Shingo was available, or do you think we'll see more Shingo?
See, that's actually what I wanted to ask you now, is do you think he's going to be in Champion Carnival?
I don't think it's impossible. And I think that Okada match for the title was just we need a filler title defense for the New Beginning tour, and I think that Shingo got his IWGP World Heavyweight title run, and I think he's now back to the mid card with the occasional maybe title challenge. But I don't think they're going to do anything else with them in New Japan, especially with all the other guys they've got, right?
Yeah, I think he might be one of the guys that is like a bit of a victim of them trying to push like all of their new like young like potential main eventers essentially. So people like Ren Narita and Shota Umino. So because like at the end of the day, yeah, Shingo has done really well in New Japan and he has drawn money and all of that, but he still is not a New Japan like true born guy, and those guys are always like the first ones to get like de-emphasized essentially.
With that being said, Taichi seems to still have a role.
Yeah, but like I also think like he's a guy that has been like very much like pushed down the card a bit as well with the like new faction and everything.
So do you think really? Because I thought like he got that big spot with Ospreay.
Oh yeah, well, true, yeah.
So we'll see.
But,
I mean, maybe
like to me, for guys doesn't feel like an act that is like going to be an upper card act.
Oh no,
that's more of the
maybe that was just something to throw together. But like I said, it wouldn't shock me if Shingo just finds himself in like mid card purgatory for here on out.
Yeah. And he takes maybe like a few more bookings outside as well as far as he can.
Well, yeah, I mean he came back to Dragon Gate, and
yeah.
So I mean if they can get him, they should use him.
Oh yeah, no.
They should use him.
Like his run in the Champion Carnival was amazing. Like that was like the Champion Carnival that he was in was one of the best ones. Like that one was amazing.
He beat Kento.
Yeah.
Kento needs his win back.
Yeah. Or he needs to get a triple crown shot.
Yeah.
If he beats him again.
Yeah. And then next up, we have Yuma Aoyagi and Naoya Nomura in a non-title match against Minoru Suzuki and Hokuto Omori. I don't know what to think of this because, I think we said this before, but like, I think Minoru Suzuki versus Kento is the main event of the March 21st Oda Ward Gym show. Or is it? So do Suzuki and Omori win here to set up a tag title match next month, or does just like Omori eat like a pin here?
I mean, it is weird that it is a non-title match,
and it just feels like this is a way. This just hurts the momentum of the new Suzuki faction if they lose.
Yeah,
to the tag champions too in a non-title match.
Okay. So I mean, could they maybe do it as like a no contest?
Yeah, I mean, if it's setting something up, so
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it is definitely a very curious one. Like, I'm actually interested. Like, if something like there has to be something coming out of this.
They should have just made this a tag title match.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it is weird that this isn't just a tag title match.
Like, so we'll see about that. I mean, I think it'll be a good match, though.
Yeah, no. I think this has the potential to be really good, but it's just a very curious decision to book this at this point.
Yeah. And then in the semi-main event for the PWF World Junior Heavyweight Championship, Atsuki Aoyagi will try for his 6th defense of the title against Naruki Doi. And Paul, I think it's fair to say that we both think that Doi is winning here.
Yeah, I'm actually so certain that I'm actually going to lock up Doi winning here.
Okay.
Like, I'm very certain Doi is beating him, like, because I think Aoyagi has had a great, like, first title reign. But, like, generally, like, the first title reign isn't, like, the long one. Like, and it's already, like, he's already has, like, 6 defenses under his belt.
For this title in the last few years, 5 defenses is a long title reign.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this has already been, like, a really good title reign. And I think Doi also feels hot as well. And I think Aoyagi loses enough. Like, he's been put over, like, a ton by, like, other people. And I think he loses nothing against losing against someone the level of Doi. And I think it actually is better if he loses here and has to, like, build himself back up and then maybe come back, like, later in the year and then get the title back from Doi.
Yeah, especially, I mean, we've got a bunch of big shows coming up through the spring and summer. So, I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to put, Atsuki getting his big revenge win on a big show.
Yeah, and you can actually like main event like smaller shows with, or like not even smaller shows. You could in theory main event like a Korakuen show with Doi as well and draw a pretty good house.
Yeah. The only thing is, how many challenges does Doi have? I mean, he'd probably get 2 or 3 defenses at least.
Yeah, I mean, like his matches would be all fresh. Like he can like defend it against Hayato, he can defend it against Stan, he can defend it against Sato. Like, have those two ever had a singles match, Doi and Sato?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so like that's like immediately one that I think like you could put on like the Ota Ward show, for example.
Actually, yes, that would be a good match for Ota Ward, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that also gives away who gets the pin in the opener.
Very possible. Hey, if Sato gets that win in the opener, then he could very well be coming out. So I'd watch for that. Mm-hmm. And then in the main event for the Triple Crown, making his 5th attempt at the defense, it'll be Kento Miyahara versus Yuji Nagata. I mean, I suppose we could unpack this. First, I'll say, what are the chances of Nagata winning? Because they are playing up. Nagata's going for the trifecta of IWGP, GHC, and now Triple Crown. And, you know, Noah followed through on that angle with Kojima last year.
I mean, I think it's absolutely possible, but it's weird that it just happens on like a Korakuen.
Yeah.
Like on a Korakuen with like no build.
Yeah, with 2 weeks
on like
of build.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
With 2 weeks build, like, and like no shows in between as well to really like build it up.
I could also
like that just feels weird.
Yeah. Now, also, I feel like Nagata wants to be doing stuff, clearly, because he's working All Japan, and he's been frustrated in the past with just doing nothing in New Japan. But at the same time, I could see him also not wanting to be like the top champion of a company at his age.
Yeah, and then who do you do at Ota Ward? Like, because it's weird if you main event an All Japan Ota Ward show with 2 New Japan guys.
No, the only match they could do at Ota Ward if Nagata wins is, I think, against Suwama. I mean, who else could you put in that main event?
I guess.
Like, really?
So he just beats the shit out of Nagata's young boys and then challenges him at Ota Ward.
I mean, it sort of fits with the Evolution versus Voodoo Murders storyline. Not that I think that's happening, but again, that's why like Suwama is the only guy you could do that with, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I mean,
think
I
so.
could see that happening, and then basically he loses it to whoever wins the Champion Carnival, I guess.
Yep. But that could be Keno.
Yes. So.
Or Nakajima.
Oh god, that would be a fucking absolute like no. Why would New Japan put itself into that like
or Nakajima.
political nightmare?
Or Nakajima. I should say, I'm not ruling out Nakajima in the Champion Carnival either.
Yeah. Like I said, like if this was actually at the Ota Ward show, then I would say Nagata wins. But just because this had no build, I don't think he's winning.
Yeah, neither do I. Actually, I'm going to go with my lock here of Kento.
Okay, yeah, you're definitely being a bit riskier than I am with mine. No, I get it
because,
as well. I mean, it just feels weird.
Again, but this is All Japan.
Yeah.
They would do stupid things, and I think they do stupid things thinking they can pop some houses, too, as we've seen, right? When they do stupid things, it's often under the assumption that they're going to pop a house out of it.
Yeah. Although generally it doesn't work.
No. I'm convinced that they could have drawn that 4,800 people at Budokan with just Kento versus Yuma.
Yeah. I think they could have drawn more, to be honest.
Yeah. But if they did the wink, this is Yuma's big moment thing.
Yeah, exactly. If Yuma wins there, then I think they definitely could have drawn a bigger house than that. But yeah, I mean, regardless of that, like, yeah, if like I said, we've been praising All Japan's booking recently, but if this could very much be like a return.
It's the same thing. It was
Bad Old Instinct.
It's the same thing it was last year. Like they're like, one bad booking choice away from everything falling apart again.
Yeah. Although to be fair, I don't think this is as bad of a decision as like having Jake lose.
Oh no!
To Suwama.
Oh no! But I do think Kento losing to Nagata, especially when he doesn't look as good as Kojima does these days, doesn't look as good.
No.
I wasn't, so. So the next question is, Paul, how good is this match going to be?
I want to say it's going to be good, but just based on what we've seen from Nagata so far in All Japan, I'm not 100% certain it's going to be that great. I think it kind of depends on how Kento wants to play this. I think Kento is kind of needs to slow down here.
Yeah.
Because I think otherwise there's a chance he embarrasses Nagata.
Yep.
So I think I don't think Nagata's as badly broken down as Tenru was in his retirement match.
No.
But I think still the play here is for Kento to just kind of let Nagata beat the shit, to let Nagata let himself get beat up by Nagata essentially.
Yeah. They can't go 25 minutes though. There's got to be 20 max.
Yeah, but it is a Triple Crown match.
I know.
So
and Kento can be self-indulgent.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if they can, this is an 8-match show, eight-match show, and there's other matches in the mid card that.
That junior match you could have go 20.
Yeah. What I'm saying is though, a nice tight 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Give some more time
I
to
think
the undercard.
that's something you can get out of Nagata. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I think that this could still be a 4-star match, but they got to keep it tight. 18-minute match. Yeah. I think Nagata will absolutely give his absolute best effort in a title match in the main event.
Oh, for sure. But it's just the question is how much can he still go?
Yeah, and don't do any.
Not if he wants to. Yeah.
Fancy shit in the end like that they did in their Odo tournament match.
Yeah. I think hopefully they've learned from that one to be okay, there's certain things that Nagata just cannot do anymore.
Yeah. So after that, assuming Kento wins, are you confident that it'll be Minoru Suzuki at Odo Ward? I don't know who else they've got that they could put in at Odo Ward.
Unless it is a Congo guy.
Yeah. Which brings me to my next question. Does anyone from Congo show up at this show?
I'm actually maybe via video package. I don't know if because Keno's whole gimmick has been to basically tell people if they show up at a Noah show that they just basically just walked in and didn't pay for their tickets. So it would be kind of mighty hypocritical for him to show up to an All Japan show as well. Unless he might also just walk in and just show that he has purchased a ticket as well, in which case I would assume that he shows up.
So they do the Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Well, it was them that bought those tickets to the front row of Dynamite a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
that would be
just Keno and Nakajima walking in before the main event, just holding up tickets and just sitting front row.
I think that would be hilarious. Yeah.
Although again, that is kind of politically kind of difficult, where it's does New Japan really want Noah guys showing up for a title match of one of their guys and kind of take off all of the attention away?
Yeah, that's true too. Oh, they could show up at an another place on the card or something too, antagonize Suwama. Oh no, because the Suwama's facing New Japan guys.
As is Naoya Nomura, as is Yuma Aoyagi.
Yeah, although I think Suzuki's a little different, but yeah.
Yeah, well, he is a title holder.
That's true. Okay, so that is that. Yeah, so we talked about that. I think any other closing thoughts on All Japan before we move on to Noah?
No, just I think positive on the promotion overall. Just curious. Yeah, I'm really interested to see who is going to be in the Champion Carnival, because I think just in the position that All Japan is in right now, I think they could they have the potential to build a really interesting field that I think no other promotion has right now.
Yeah. Although I could see it be you could either have New Japan or Noah, but you can't have both.
You could put them in separate blocks.
Yeah, that's true, but you never know. But I do think that regardless, Great will be fine, and they'll get someone. Yeah, and I'll just add, people are watching All Japan that haven't watched All Japan in a while. I'm getting that vibe from talking to people and stuff like that, so that's cool to see.
Yeah. I think like having cheering back helps.
Yeah. So let's see how long it.
Because it just isn't the same without people chanting Kento when he comes out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll be incredible at the Dome. I'm hyped up just for Kento's entrance at the Dome. Nothing else. Because I think he will probably come off as a bigger star than a lot of people realize.
Yeah,
I think, hopefully, but
no, definitely. I think that's really like a potential for All Japan there to like.
Actually, I'll just say this: I think one of the sneaky winners of the Dome, because people are talking about the politics of all those, like the Okada versus Kiyomiya and stuff like that. I think there's a very good chance that All Japan, relatively speaking, walks away as like the sort of secret big winners of that show.
Yeah, I could absolutely.
Depending on how good the match is and if it's hot and if it sets up other stuff in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Like this is a big chance for them, and hopefully, like they make the most of it.
Yeah. So we move on to a pro wrestling. Noah, we'll start real quick. I'm not going to go through the whole show. With Noah Sunny Voyage on February 4th at Nippon Totar Green Dome Maebashi. I'll just say that Shuhei Taniguchi defeating Taishi Ozawa in the opener, was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And if we get more All Japan versus Noah stuff, they got to send Taniguchi over to All Japan.
Oh God, yeah, no, he would be a perfect guy
because he ain't doing shit otherwise.
No,
so he's the perfect guy to stick in, because you can put him in a big tag match and you can take the fall, yada yada yada.
And he's also one of the few guys in Noah that also has like the right size for All Japan as well.
Yeah. Otherwise, I liked Katoge, Yohei, and Yoshioka versus Tadasuke, Hajime Ohara, and Hiroki. Katoge pinned Tadasuke in that. That was good. And then the Kojima, Marufuji, and Ninja Mac defeating Masa Kitamiya, Daiki, and Ab and Super Crazy. It's about as good a match you're going to see involving Super Crazy. Who's back?
Yeah, that one kind of exceeded expectations.
Anthony Green defeated Muhammad Yone. I don't know. It was fine, but sort of dry.
Yeah.
Keno, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Manabu Soya versus Takashi Sugera, Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., and Timothy Thatcher. When Soya pinned Wagner with the Dando. I thought this was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this was like the perfect match to set up the title match later.
Yeah. And Asuka, Junta Miyawaki, and Alejandro defeated Yoshinari Ogawa, Chris Woodray, and Yasutaka Yano in 23 minutes and 22 seconds. Miyawaki pinning Yano. I thought that this was also really good. It was nice to see Ogawa and Ridgway back together, picking body parts apart again. And then...
Well, about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. And then in the main event, Jack Morrison and Jake Lee defeated Kaito Kiyomiya and Yoshiki Inamura. With Morris pinning Inamura. Otherwise, very good match. Even though... that was the one where Lee did the assist, right?
Yeah.
And he just once again, Inamura getting made a goof by Lee. I would say
to
that...
Be fair, at least it's in the main event this time. And at least it was to build up a title challenger.
I would say that otherwise... Normally I would say that this has got to be building to Inamura beating Lee, but I don't think that's going to happen. Just because it just seems so show after show, he's just punking out Inamura.
Yeah, as is everyone else.
Yeah, but I sort of enjoyed this show for the most part, and it was 2 hours. The complete run time's 2 hours and 15 minutes, so it's actually worth a watch, I think.
Yeah, definitely went by quickly.
Yeah, and then we go to the very next day on February 5th, Star Navigation 2023 at Korakuen Hall, 825 fans. For the card, that's not bad for what Noah's been doing recently, I suppose.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a good number, but it's definitely better than what they've drawn previously. And I think it's kind of like a feather in the cap for Wagner, actually.
Yeah, I agree. So to open the show, we had the Kinya Okada return match. He was out a while, too. 6 months?
Well, to be fair.
A broken jaw.
Fractured jaw probably takes a while, depending on how bad it is.
So Tadasuke and Hiroki beat Okada and Taishi Ozawa in 7 minutes and 4 seconds, and but it was Hiroki pinned Ozawa with the trance rave. I forgot how much I missed Okada because I still thought he looked pretty good here and hadn't missed too much of a step.
And he also seemed super over too.
Yeah. Well, it's the hardcores, and he's returning after that, so you know. And then next up, Super Crazy defeated Yasutaka Yano in 7 minutes and 3 seconds with a Samson clutch. I mean, it was like the usual Super Crazy bullshit with lots of stalling and playing to the crowd. I mean, it's not a good match, but I mean, at least with someone like Yano, it's like not as bad as it could have been, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say here.
No.
It's just, it's a match that happened, and it went exactly the way I expected it to, and whatever.
Timothy Thatcher and Hideki Suzuki defeated Masaki Mochizuki and Shuhei Taniguchi in 9 minutes and 53 seconds when Thatcher used the Fujiwara armbar on Taniguchi. I liked this. This was great.
Yeah. They went so hard for an undercard tag.
Yeah. Yeah, because all these guys are just going to beat the shit out of each other, and they definitely delivered.
Yeah, and also the fact that like even the finish was kind of like dramatic as well, where like Taniguchi like desperately trying to get to the ropes, and then Thatcher just wrenches in the armbar even more and just makes him tap out. Like again, like they went way harder than they even needed to for like the third match on the show, and like being given like less than 10 minutes. I was really like I actually really liked this one.
And the next up, Congo team of Keno, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Shuji Kondo, and Hajime Ohara defeated Daiki Inaba, Yoshiki Inamura, Ninja Makina, Tsushi Kotoge. This was really quick, at like 7 minutes and 11 seconds. And it was just Nakajima using the vertical spike on Inamura, of course.
Yeah. Of course he did.
Yeah. I'm not even sure
You can't drop out at Tsushi Kotoge.
I'm not even sure what the
point
of this...
You need to do that at the next show.
I'm not even sure what the point of this was.
No, yeah, this was, I don't know, this really literally just felt
this
like,
match.
We don't have anything to do for these guys at this show, so let's just put them all in a tag match.
Yeah. Next up, Satoshi Kojima defeated Masa Kitamiya in 10 minutes and 34 seconds with a Western Lariat. I enjoyed this match.
Oh yeah, no, I actually went 4 stars on this one.
Oh really? Okay, wow.
Yeah, I thought
wouldn't be far off. I wouldn't be far off. Maybe 3 3/4. But yeah, I mean, you can sort of like imagine this match in your head between these guys. They just
they just
pillared each other. Yeah, and then Kojima won with the lariat.
Yeah.
But it was exactly what I wanted and expected.
Yes. Yeah. No. Like I thought they just kind of like just lariating each other in the face, and just like Kitamiya also went pretty hard as well, and so yeah, I thought this was just like about as good as you can have like in a 10-minute match between these two.
Yeah, I'll just say before we get to the next show, I thought they built up the whole build to Sugiura and Kojima versus Inaba and Kamiya quite well. Yeah.
I mean, because like at the during the last show we said that like we were not thinking that Inaba and Kitamiya were winning anymore. But to be honest, like after this show, I was like, okay, now I actually think again that Inaba and Kitamiya are winning, because like it would just be weird that Kojima just beats both of them in singles matches and then he just lose the tag title match as well.
Yeah. And next up, we had Kaito Kiyomiya, Takashi Sugiura, and Naomichi Marufuji defeating the good-looking guys, Jack Morris, Jake Lee, and Anthony Green in 17 minutes and 49 seconds when Kiyomiya pinned Green with a Tiger suplex hold. I thought it was interesting here, you pairing Kiyomiya with Sugiura and Marufuji, who are like essentially the legends, and he's sort of being positioned with them. I mean, I thought this was pretty good.
Yeah. No, I thought this was pretty good as well. And I think it makes sense for like the good-looking guys to lose here as well, just to like build up the title match between Morris and Kaito a bit more, because I think Morris has just been beating like Kaito like a drum.
Yeah.
And I think that just really would have been like, so Kaito's definitely winning the title match then, so at least like they have a little bit of intrigue and going into the title match with Kaito getting the win just before the title match.
Yeah, way too anticlimactic otherwise. I actually thought Green looked good here, although,
I think generally he's better as just like in this kind of role where he's like the third guy on the team, just kind of like taking the heat.
Yep. And then the elimination match, Yoshinari Ogawa, Eita, and Nosawa Rongai, Chris Ridgway, and Daga defeated Asuka, Junta Miyawaki, Alejandro, Yohei, and Seki Yoshioka in 22 minutes and 53 seconds. And then it came down to Eita and Daga were the survivors. And then Eita...
What? No, the entire team were the survivors.
Sorry. What am I thinking?
But it was just Eita and Daga eliminating everyone else.
Yeah. It's very strange booking, but I think this is sort of to get that angle.
This was a match that happened.
Especially given the way the booking of the subsequent junior tag title match went.
Yeah, and the fact that Amaxa was the first guy out in 2 minutes.
Paul, this may sound strange when we go to the next show, but I think, because I know that he hasn't gotten much plaudits over the last couple of years of his career, but I thought Daga was over these shows was the best junior heavyweight from Mexico that Noah has. Am I crazy to say that?
There's a lot of qualifiers in that statement.
I know, but we'll get to that in a minute. He didn't look bad.
No, he's not. I mean, my thing with Daga has always been, actually early on in his career, I thought Daga is a guy that has, a ton of potential, but then he just never took the next step, and he's still kind of the same guy he was, 6, 8, 7 years ago at this point. Mm-hmm. So, but even then he was pretty solid, and he still is pretty solid, if a bit unexciting.
And in the main event for the GHC national title, Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. defeated Manabu Soya in 20 minutes and 46 seconds with a moonsault press. I thought this was great. I actually thought this was the best match of the show. 4 stars.
Yes.
Wagner has arrived.
It's a 4 stars.
Because I can remember when this guy first showed up in Noah and he looked lost at times. But god damn it, this was great. Because he can fly and he's a larger guy, and so him and Soya were also beating the shit out of each other. It was just great. Between the big power spots between each other, and then Wagner would do an lucha arm drag and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, no, this was awesome. I mean, hey, there was a time when I would say within the tag team, he was the second best guy, whereas I think now, though, that absolutely would not be the case.
Oh no. He's really
I think he has well earned the fact that he is national champion now. I think this, I mean, in some ways I could actually foresee this being his peak in Noah as well, but I think he's working really well. He's meshed well with a ton of opponents that I didn't think he would mesh well with.
Right.
And I actually think this was his best title defense as well. I think this was even better than the Inamura match.
Yep. So as far as Wagner's peak, I think it's just it depends on how far he wants to sort of go in Noah.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I mean, I definitely I don't think they would ever put the heavyweight title on him.
Not on a masked guy, I don't think.
Oh, you think if he unmasks?
Yeah, I don't think they'd necessarily be against. I know Noah's only ever had one foreign champion in Eddie Edwards. But I just don't know if they, and I don't think they'd be against having another one. I just don't think they would be a masked guy.
And I mean, just based on the way his dad looks, it's probably not the worst idea for him to lose the mask.
No. Also, since we're on the topic of the Wagners, Paul, have you seen
yes, I was about to say that as well. He's an absolute unit. Holy shit.
Did you?
So
I have not watched the Great Show, but I watched the GIFs. The man is I looked at his measurements. He's listed on Cage Mats at 6'5", 297 pounds. Which sounds about right when you look at him.
Yes. He's almost as wide as he is tall.
Yeah. And he can do Yave.
Yeah. Which is wild.
Paul, this is a big miss by Noah by not getting this guy in there to team with his brother.
Yeah, I also don't get why he's not there. Especially given that they're very clearly pushing his brother right now as well. It would just make perfect sense to just bring him in and have him team with his brother, and then I don't know, fucking great can have Dralistico.
So, also, this guy came at interesting because, I mean, he's obviously the son of Dr. Wagner Jr., but he's 31 or 32, and he's only been wrestling since 2018, according to Cage Match, which is an interesting sort of timeline for a luchador that's a son of a big star.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he was doing something else before then.
And then finally he decided, but you're 6'5", why aren't you a pro wrestler? And your father's a star, why aren't you a pro wrestler?
I mean, actually, not just like talking about like misses for Noah, also like kind of a miss for all Japan because he kind of has perfect measurements for them too.
Yes, he would also have perfect measurements for all Japan. Yeah. So
like you probably just see that guy walk out on a great show, and if I don't know if like Suwama or like Ichikawa stand there, they would just be like, "Oh hey, oh hello there, Mr. Galeno Del Mal."
Tajiri probably would have liked him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think any Japanese company was missed the ball on this guy. I think.
Yeah.
That great. I've never seen him before, so I want to see more of him. And I know. I hope I don't have anything against Great. I like Great. I just would like to see him even in an even bigger company, to be honest.
Yeah. No. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, I don't think like just based on the way he looks and the way he wrestles, like maybe he sticks around in Great, but I also could very easily foresee like someone else like pouncing on that.
I just don't see. Look, if he performs very well and great, why won't Noah just scoop him up?
Yeah, exactly. It would just make, like I said, it just makes like all the sense in the world. Like literally, like technically, his brother is like the second highest champion in the company right now. Like technically, he's the second highest guy in the company if we just take kayfabe for it.
Yep. So that was the show. Yeah. Pretty good show for Korakuen.
I thought this was really fun. Like I thought this went by pretty quickly. Had two great matches in there, with Kojima versus Kitamiya and Wagner versus Soya match. So
yeah,
I thought really like the only things that kind of dragged in there were like the super crazy match and then the elimination match had like weird booking. But I thought everything else was really good.
Yeah, and then so we move on to February 12th, Great Voyage 2023 in Osaka at Osaka Edion Arena, 2,092 fans. That was more than Stardom did.
But it's half of what New Japan did.
So what do you think of this number? Consider and think of the card.
I mean, what actually worries me more so than like this number, more so than comparing it to like Stardom and New Japan, is the fact that this is 900 down from the N1 final.
Oh, that's right.
Which also had Kaito in the main event.
Yes, that's true.
So I think that's bad.
But Jack Morris is no...
I think that's a bad sign.
Jack Morris is no Hideki Suzuki.
No, Jack Morris is no Hideki Suzuki, but in theory, Kaito should be the main one to draw people.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's nearly 1,000 people, that's a lot. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of tickets not being sold.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think it's a disaster, though, but it's probably...
No, I don't think it's a disaster. Yeah, I think if they had drawn below what Stardom did, I think that would have been a disaster.
Yes, for sure. So we start off with first match, Muhammad Yone and Akitoshi Saito defeating Kinya Okada and Taichi Ozawa in 7 minutes and 5 seconds with the muscle buster from Yone on Ozawa. Yeah, I mean, it was a perfectly fine opener, Funky Express opener. Paul, do you think Okada is stuck in opening match hell for the next little while again?
I mean, it seems to be, because otherwise if they had actually wanted to like move him away from like Young Boy stage, they probably would have like given him a couple of wins quickly like after his return, but it just seems like they're just slotting him right back into the spot where he was in before.
Yeah. It's a shame. Anyway, Chris Ridgway and Daga defeated Tadasuke and Hajime Ohara in 6 minutes and 9 seconds with the Magnum from Daga on Tadasuke. I think it's safe to say that Daga is going to get a push and possibly be a junior title challenger. Yeah.
I think him and Amaxa could have like a pretty decent
match.
I
thought this was short and good match actually for what it was. Mm-hmm. And then next up, we had Kazuyuki Fujita, Hideki Suzuki, and Timothy Thatcher defeating Masato Tanaka, Masaki Mochizuki, and Yoshiki Inamura in 13 minutes and 45 seconds when Suzuki used the flying cross arm breaker on, you guessed it, Inamura. Yeah, but it was good though.
Yep. It was good, yeah. But, Inamura taking the fall again.
So that was what it was. And then Masakatsu Funaki, Katsuhiko Nakajima, and Shuji Kondo and Hiroki defeated Naomichi Marufuji, Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Amaska, and Ninja in 12 minutes and 17 seconds with a Michinoku driver on from Hiroki on Amatsuka, and this was all just to set up Hiroki being the next challenger for the GHC Junior title. Match was fine. I guess.
Would you say he has a 0% chance of winning, or do you think he has a 0.5%
A 0% chance of winning.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Noah Junior, so you should never say never, but like this like feels as close to a never as like.
Yeah, like I mean, Hiroki's not protected, but he's only been protected on these last couple shows, basically. Just to exactly what it is. El Desperado and Nosawa Rongai defeated Yohei and Seki Yoshioka in 15 minutes and 57 seconds with the Pinche Loco from Desperado on Yoshioka. Nosawa was obviously like the weak link here, but I still enjoyed it, seeing Desperado mix it up, especially with Yohei and Yoshioka, though.
Yeah. Like I love this piece, so I'm really happy to see him at least get like something in the Noah. So yeah, no, I thought this was a lot of fun. I think he actually said afterwards as well that I think he wants to have a match with Yano.
Yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun.
So yeah, if he can stick around like a little bit at least, like I think he's obviously like a really great guy, and obviously like New Japan will always be like his main responsibility. But you know, if he can get like a few more bookings outside of New Japan, I think that's a really good thing too.
And then we had Keno and Manabu Soya defeating Jake Lee and Anthony Green in 12 minutes and 9 seconds with the jumping DDT from Soya on Green. This was just kind of there. I gotta say, Jake has not been doing anything for me.
No, because he's just the same Jake we've seen for like years and on all Japan.
Jake is technically the leader of the good-looking guys, but like to me, it's like the Jack Morris show, which is fine because I like Jack. But I don't know.
You think he's beating Kaito for the title?
No.
Jake?
No way Noah puts the title on Jake.
Are you sure? I mean, if he signed that contract, I think he will.
Really? How is that going to work out any differently than what happened in All Japan?
It won't. That's the point.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But there's a reason for this Keno and Soya win. So, we'll get into that in a minute. But, you know, I mean, it's a perfectly acceptable match. Just Jake's not doing anything for me.
No. I mean, one thing I might say as well is that I think he really thinks he would just moonwalk into New Japan, and it might also be a thing where like him realizing that the New Japan thing will never happen has probably like destroyed his motivation a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's completely unmotivated. I just don't think he's doing anything to like stand out. Where the point was he needed a fresh coat of paint.
And it's the opposite. Like it's like it is technically a new faction, but they have the same color scheme as Totally Eclipse.
And he's being outshined by Morris. Yeah,
like very, very, very much so. Which actually, like, I guess Jake is technically leader, but I also feel like is that actually also the plan for Noah? Is the plan for Noah actually that no, Jack is actually the leader and Jake is just more like the mouthpiece because he can speak Japanese?
That's an interesting question of how Noah sees it. And then next up, Drilistico making his Noah debut. I don't even want to get into who the genealogy of his gimmicks. Defeated Atsushi Kotoge in 13 minutes and 18 seconds with the Dragon Operation. This is perfectly Gentleman's 3 match. Drilistico.
Yep. I mean, it's Drilistico
is the lesser of the brothers of Rush and Dragon Lee. And
now, to be fair, normally that could mean he's still really, really good because those are two absolutely amazing wrestlers. But he's also very much just like, the 3-star guy among the brothers and always has been.
And that's why I made those qualifiers about Daga as being like the best junior heavyweight from Mexico they've got right now. Which I think was proven with this match. I don't really have any desire to see any more Drilistico. I mean, he's not bad. I just don't like care to see a Drilistico push or anything like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've seen this guy like for a while now, like in Mexico as well. And like he's never been a guy that has blown me away. Like he's always been perfectly solid, but he's never been like amazing. And it's still
I just feel like the position they gave this and against, established junior like Katoge, it's like they got plans for him, but I could care less.
Yeah.
Next up for the GHC Tag Team Championship, they did it. Masa Kitamiya and Daiki Inaba defeated Takashi Sugiura and Satoshi Kojima in 17 minutes and 4 seconds with the decapitation prison hold from Kitamiya on Kojima. And the champions failed in their 4th attempted defense. Paul, I love this. I mean, it was exactly like how all the other Sugiura and like Kojima tag title matches have been, just, beating the stuffing out of each other. And it never gets old.
Yeah.
Or at least they dropped the titles before it got too old.
Yes. Because I did like think again, like when they did the like miscommunication spot yet again, I was like, okay, like I really hope Kitamiya and Inaba are winning this because I'm really over that at this point.
Yeah, was getting to.
But like the rest of it was still amazing. Like I think the rest of it was just like, just really hard hitting action all the way through.
And I mean, I thought it was kind of impressive how they managed to build up Kitamiya and Inaba to the point where like, they might have a chance of winning this, we thought. And so they did, and they did, right? Yeah. And Inaba finally accomplishes something in Noah. And
I'm really happy that they won. Like I think this is a really good step for Inaba, and hopefully that leads to like more good things for him like down the road. And then Kitamiya, I think he's just been working his ass off recently, and I think I'm happy that he finally, because I thought he was going to win the national title, and I wasn't happy when he didn't. Obviously, that has worked out since then with Wagner having a great title reign. Still, like that he like worked his ass off and he at least like gets to win like a tag title, I think is good for him as well. And I think they have like the potential to have. I don't think they're gonna get a long reign though, but I don't think they're gonna lose it on their first defense. But
no, and like these guys were doing nothing until they decided to make them a team. And
yes.
So,
exactly.
Good booking.
So, but do you think this is the end of Kojima's run?
No. Only because with Muto retiring, they probably want everyone they can get. So,
I mean, but to me, it was more like, because we're talking about like whether or not this is like a soft jump of like him to Noah essentially. But then, like he's still signed to New Japan now. Like presumably, like everyone else's, his contract ran out earlier in the year, and that means he re-upped with New Japan rather than like leaving New Japan and then just signing with Noah.
That's true.
So I don't know if he like really sticks around beyond the Muto retirement show, especially with him losing the titles just before as well.
Okay, I get that. I'll just say though that maybe he did resign with New Japan. Maybe they still want him, in their holster. But it's clear that the man wants to wrestle, and I don't see what. And we just talked about this when we were talking about who's going to be popping up in All Japan from New Japan. Kojima's definitely not. They don't have anything for him to do. If we're talking about them being like, they're just going to stick Shingo in the mid card and do nothing, right? What's Kojima going to do? That's why I think he's still going to be around, but we'll see. If I had to bet, I would say Kojima continues to hang around.
Maybe, like I said, like it is just weird to me that like he essentially re-signed with New Japan when, as you said, they don't have any plans for him. Like even if they want to keep him in the holster, like I would presume that just based on what we've heard out of Noah, that they would have made him a pretty decent offer as well.
That's true too. So, I don't know. We'll see. So it'll be, I'm sure we'll have something to say about Kojima in the next couple of weeks though, at least in Noah. So, And then to the semi-main event, interesting. And so Soya and Keno will be the next challengers. They
and that's also why I'm thinking that Inaba and Kitamiya aren't losing on their first offense, because that just seems like a very easy takes the pin.
And then for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship, Yoshinari Ogawa and Eita defeated Junta Miyawaki and Alejandro in 19 minutes and 10 seconds with an Imperial Uno from Eita on Alejandro to make their first successful defense of the titles, which, is an accomplishment these days with those titles to actually make a successful defense. I actually like this. I thought Ogawa and Ada were great slimy heels. Alejandro got his mask ripped off to the point where little was left to the imagination in terms of seeing his face.
Who his brother
Yeah.
is.
So, I mean, it was good, I thought. I mean, not like blow away or anything, but a very good, solid match.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was definitely solid. Expected a little bit more of this. I thought it like dragged in parts as well, but I think otherwise like it had pretty sound structure. But I don't know. I also thought it was a bit of a curious decision to make this the semi-main and not the heavyweight tag title match, which I thought was a lot better.
Well, Paul, I mean, you had to give the run-in after the match from Hayata a prominent spot.
I guess so. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, like it's weird that it is a rarity to even have a successful defense of these titles, but I have a feeling they're not going to have a second successful defense of these titles.
Oh, no. So Hayata and Chris Ridgway jumped the champions after the match, knocked them out, and challenged them. What a strange team.
Yes. Two people that I don't know. I may be saying they couldn't be more different isn't true, but yeah. I mean, this is basically just Hayata redoing his tag team with Ogawa, but with a British guy.
And I don't even know what Stinger is now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is Ogawa out of Stinger? Is he not? Because we've done the whole Stinger people attack other Stinger people, but they're not actually out of the faction before as well. So, yeah, I'm also not certain. I mean, with Stinger as well, like, did you recently see the alignment chart that Noah puts out?
No, I didn't.
So there was actually like a Stinger member missing from that.
Which one?
It's shit, why am I blanking on his name now? The guy they brought in from Freedoms.
Oh, Yuya Susumu, yes.
Yeah, Yuya Susumu, yeah, exactly. So Yuya Susumu was missing from
he's
there.
been gone a while. He's wrestling in Freedoms,
like
I think.
Is he actually wrestling there again? I thought he was injured.
No, I think he's back. Let me investigate that. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what a run that was.
No, he was like the worst junior. Well, yeah, actually, he was the worst.
Well, no, that's that Black Tiger that all the.
Well, I mean, the worst junior in Noah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I know. Which is saying something.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna bet the challengers are gonna win the title because you can never bet against.
Yeah.
Hayata.
Yes, exactly. I'm surprised they didn't just immediately put him like in a match with like Amaxa to just win the title back.
Yeah.
But at least that means he's staying away from that title for a little bit longer.
Yeah, Paul. Yuya Susumu has worked 2 Freedom shows and a Tenru Project show this month.
Oh, okay. So he's just out of nowhere then.
So that's that. Then in the main event for the GHC Heavyweight Championship, Kaito Kiyomiya defeated Jack Morris in 19 minutes and 11 seconds with a modified Shining Wizard. Before we get to even the match, I thought that the video package that they played before this match was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like Jack Morris.
Well, that was
Jack
good.
Morris talking about how, like, he was a soccer player, and then he was drawn to Noah because he loved Marufuji and Kenta. He wants to win this for his family in Scotland. And, it's just a good... And then Kaito said some stuff. So I thought it was a good video, and I think... Paul, do you think that Jack Morris, they're all in on Jack Morris as their top foreigner?
Yeah, I think they're all in on Jack Morris as their top foreigner.
Yeah, that's how I...
Because why wouldn't you? Look at him. And I mean, that was also the thing during the match with just Stuart Fulton just firsting over Jack Morris.
Yes, definitely. And I quite enjoyed the match. I thought it was pretty good. Maybe you could say it started off a little bit slowly, but I thought the last few minutes were great. And Morris got, wrestled in that big, heavyweight style, big moves, near falls from both guys and everything like that. And then Kiyomiya did... Is it a reverse Tiger Driver it's called? Which really should be his finisher, but... Yeah.
I'm still surprised
and then
that isn't
with
his
the
finisher,
and then he got with the modified one with the modified Shining Wizard. So I mean, did I like it more than his match against Morris's match against Nakajima? I don't know. That's a good question. It was like wrestled though in like a more traditional main event style. I'd say, and I thought this was really good. So this was either Morris's best or second best match in Noah, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. And we have to remember, like, he's still only like 6 months into his.
Like, I expect Morris to get even better.
Yeah. So I think like his second run in the N1 could be even better than his first run in the N1, and I think there is like if we're talking about like a foreigner winning the heavyweight title, I think Jack Morris, if he sticks around to Noah long term, absolutely is like a guy I think that has a chance to win that title eventually.
If he signs a contract. Well, I don't know if he has or not, but like if he like actually does, I could see it. But I always get these worries because they showed like a picture of a young Jack Morris as a wrestling fan, and of course all he had was like WWE stuff merch in the picture,
no, of
right?
Course.
So these guys are, especially it seems like all the British guys do want to just end up in WWE eventually, right? So I don't know.
Yeah. No, there is definitely that worry, but I mean, then again, I don't think he ever even had like a match on NXT UK or anything like that. Let me see. No, he didn't. So at least at that time, they apparently either like he had no interest in, or they didn't have any interest in him.
On the radar, or
I mean, he was in ICW, which had like WWE connections.
Yeah, there's been some, it's like very like bland talent that have popped up on NXT UK or popped up on NXT UK during its existence. So yeah, you're right.
So there is a chance that like either he has no interest, which would be weird, or like they had no interest in him. But I think like as long as like Noah can like lock him up, they should like lock him up and then like have him have like a really nice long run. And then look, he's only 29 now, so like if he wants to have like a nice like long like 5-year run in Noah, I think that's like the best thing for him to do at this point. And then he can always like if he like becomes like a big star in Japan, that is just all the more chance for him to like go and sign like a big money contract with WWE afterwards. Again, but I think for now, for him, staying in Noah is like the best thing.
I mean, I think if he wants to become like a top tier elite wrestler, he devotes a couple of years into Japan to develop, even if he does want to end up in.
Because he's all very clearly on that way, on that path
absolutely.
already.
So I don't know. I don't know what the chance. Like if Jack Morris signs a contract, I don't know what the chances of him winning the GHC title are, but they're not zero.
No, because like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, actually, like good-looking guys is like supposed to be the vehicle to like propel Jack Morris higher, rather than actually being a Jake Lee vehicle, which is what I thought it was originally.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like that, but once they started getting into action, and Jack just stealing the spotlight. Not even stealing is a strong word, but he's just natural charisma. Because I don't want to make it seem like Jack is trying to sabotage Jake. I doubt that's happening. Jack Morris seems like a team player, but I mean, just with his natural charisma and skill, how can you not outshine Jake Lee?
Jake Lee.
I mean. Here's the thing. I mean, look, I'm not here in saying that Jake is a bad wrestler by any means. No, he's had incredible matches, but he needs to have an incredible match in Noah if he wants to have any chance of making something of this.
Yeah. And he just hasn't done that so far. So no. Yeah. I think like Jack sticking around to Noah is like, that's the thing that he should do. And I think Noah would be more than happy to like give him a really heavy push as well.
And
as is evidenced by the fact that like within 6 months they're giving him a heavyweight title match at Edion Arena number 1.
They had him pin Kaito in his first match in the company.
Yeah.
And he's pinned Nakajima. So,
yeah.
They love him. And why wouldn't you?
They should have given him the Muto.
Yeah. Well, didn't he have a match? Wasn't he in one of Muto's countdown matches?
He was, wasn't he? Yeah, he was teaming with him as well, right?
Again. I mean, Jack Morris is
absolutely
the kind of guy that if like, when Muto was running like All Japan or Wrestle One and he saw him, he'd bring him in. Mm-hmm. And then of course, Kaito cutting a promo to end the show, and then Kazuchika Okada runs in from behind him and gives him a Rainmaker.
Yeah.
Oh, I should say.
And then all of these heathens started booing him.
That ruled, actually. I forgot to mention this. This wasn't the greatest crowd. I mean, we've talked about this before with Noah. However, in the Kaito and Jack Morris, W column is that they got the crowd really into the match in the in like the towards the end and everything. Like the crowd was oohing and awing for that closing stretch and everything. So I thought they did a good job there, right? But the boos from the crowd when Okada did the Rainmaker to Kiyomiya were awesome.
Yes. And then Okada cutting that promo on Kaito as well and just being, oh, you want a match? Well, you should have just asked me, Mr. Okada, please can I have a match? Thank
and
you.
he says he's not doing this for anything other than like make the Noah fans shut up. Or something along those lines.
Heel Okada is so good. Like it's obviously it's clear like why New Japan wants him to be a face because he is their ace and he needs to draw money and all of that. But he just very clearly enjoys being a heel so much.
I mean, it's the same thing with Tanahashi when he plays the dick as well, right? Incredible, absolutely incredible at it.
Yeah.
So that was the show. We did a preview, I guess, basically of the Muto retirement show on the last episode. But Paul, do you have any recent thoughts with coming out of these All Japan and Noah shows?
I think the one that I think like everyone is talking about it. So I think just on that one as well, like because also with we had some recording issues last time, and I actually realized that actually most of my rant about Kaito and Okada kind of got left on the cutting floor because I couldn't remember what I said. Because I kind of had to re-record most of my audio for the first half of the show.
So might as well go back and...
So I think if we talk about that one again, that would be good.
Yeah, so go for it, Paul.
Yeah, so basically my thing on this one is, like, especially now that we've gone through, like, the whole, like yesterday we had the press conference for it, right? And Okada didn't show up. And just the whole thing, just the way this is built up is just, like in theory, classical pro wrestling, like, structure and everything tells me, or should tell everyone that, like, Kaito is winning this. But I don't think Kaito is winning. Like, but he absolutely should. So I think that's actually one of the biggest issues with the match. Like, just the way Kaito sold the Rainmaker here as well, like, after, in the post-match at the Osaka show, was just like, that's the most anyone's ever sold the Rainmaker. Because he was, like, down for, like, what felt like 10 minutes. It probably was less
than that. Yeah, they rolled him
out
of the ring.
But then he had to, he had to be rolled out of the ring by other people. Like, he was basically selling it like he was, like, knocked unconscious. So, like, just the way this whole thing is built up, it's like, I don't know how you can, if you know, I don't know how you can allow Kaito to get beaten here.
Yeah, well, and they're both champions.
I mean, it will happen, but I just, like, it just doesn't make sense in my mind.
No, it doesn't. But, I mean, New Japan has all the advantage here. Because they're like, hey, well, you want to fill this dome. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you simply...
But then why build it this way, you know? Then build it in a different way and not build it like Okada gets the better of Kaito in return, and then he beats him, and then they never have a match again.
I mean, New Japan is leaving a sumo, even a bigger than Sumo Hall, probably. You could run this in Osaka Joe, probably.
Yeah, you can make this the Dominion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And so they're leaving a big gate on the table for themselves if Okada wins this.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I don't think they do more damage to Kaito than, like, has been done to Kaito already.
Well, I still think...
Don't think Kaito even loses all that much here by not winning.
Gets more damaged. I really do. But, I mean, such is the interpromotional thing.
Yeah. I don't... Like I said, like, it's just, like, just the way this whole build has gone, just, like, I just want to say that Kaito's winning, just don't foresee it happening. And it's just, yeah, like I said, it's just such a massive missed opportunity here. But, I mean, what I can say, though, about, like, the positive of this is, like, that it feels like they have actually managed to build this match up to actually be the equal of Keiji Muto's retirement, which I think is a big testament to both men. Because otherwise, like, this very easily could have been just a one-match show. Like, it's just all about the Keiji Muto retirement against Tetsuya Naito, and, like, that's it. But, like, this is an actually money-drawing match. Like, whatever, like, tickets got sold, like, to this show after this match was announced and after like the whole build got going can actually be put partially like because previously obviously like it was all like go there to watch KG Muto retire. And I think now people actually bought tickets to be like, oh, I want to watch KG Muto retire, but also there's Kaito Kiyomiya versus Okada on this card, and I want to see that. Yeah. So whatever number gets drawn, you actually can put on these two as well.
Yep. And I think they're saying that 30,000 tickets have been sold.
Yeah.
Which, look, I think that's very possible. Like that's more than Wrestle Kingdom. I think it could very well be legit. You see people being like, well, it's convenient that it's more than Wrestle Kingdom, but no, I think this always had a chance of outdrawing Wrestle Kingdom, and there was another match on top of the Muto retirement match that got them there.
Yeah, and I think, like for example, like I know the Noah Twitter account tweeted out like a link to tickets, like 2 days ago, I think. And if you actually click on that link, like it actually tells you there's no tickets available. So I don't know if that is like just like a thing that blocks you if you try to go onto there internationally, or if that just actually means like at least on that like link there's no tickets being sold anymore.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they were sold out. And now in Japan, do they withhold tickets for walk-ups?
Maybe, but to me that is like the show's still far enough out. Because normally if you do that, you close ticket sales like 2-3 days before, not like a week before the show. So to me that would be like reason that it might actually be like either, like I said, either it's like a geo blocker, but it didn't say that it was a geo blocker, which normally it does. It might actually just be like a thing where like actually, there are no tickets available anymore, and all of the rest of them are like comms to like sponsors or whatever.
And then,
but that's like a great sign.
Absolutely. And I think it will outdraw Wrestle Kingdom legitimately.
Yeah.
If I could make that my lock, I would say.
And then the other question is, do you think Muto's injury is legit or is it a work?
Well, we touched on that last episode. It's a little from column A, a little from column B.
Well, to be fair, because I think since then I've actually moved more into it's a work. Yeah. Because just based on the way he's like selling this, where he's just like, oh yeah, I'm so injured, and I see all of the expectations that people have for me, which to me just sets it up that he's just basically working this so that he has an excuse for why he loses.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Naito's winning.
Yeah.
And then...
So do you think Amaxa has then any chance of beating Hiromu?
I do.
Or is Noah just losing like basically the last basically like almost all of the matches on this show?
I mean, I think it's very possible, although I think there's a chance that Amaska wins, especially if Okada wins. Which sort of leads me to my next point. If you tell me the hottest 3 matches on the show by the hype, obviously Naito versus Muto, and then obviously Kaito and Okada. But I think the number 3 hyped match is my main event. Of the Congo versus All Japan match, actually, more so than Amaska versus Hiromu, which is sort of interesting.
No, absolutely. Because there's history for the like All Japan versus Noah match, like whereas there isn't really anything there for like Amaxa and Hiromu. Yeah. Like they also haven't done anything to build that up besides like, hey, this match is gonna be real good.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking at the card here, do you have any other quick thoughts?
I feel like it's weird actually that they haven't really done anything to build up the Nosawa retirement match or the Dragon Gate versus Noah match.
Well, yeah, and now they're dropping like don't retire Nosawa stuff in the media, so who knows?
I would have thought they would have at least waited until after the match, but
I don't know. I can't even tell you what percentage I give Nosawa actually retiring. I don't know, 50-50.
At this point, I'm at like 30% he's actually retiring.
Yeah, I mean that's very I can't blame you for that one. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Because what's he going to do otherwise? He's going to become full-time office?
Yeah. Can you imagine Osawa in a suit?
Yeah, exactly. I guess my only other comment is, as much as I was talking about the Kento entrance, I hope all the All Japan guys get their own entrances instead of just all come.
Or they don't all just come out to Kento's music.
Because you want to give that to Yuma too, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you could maybe do like the LIJ gimmick, where like they like assemble at the stage and like Yuma comes out to his music, like stands at the top of the stage. Sawama comes out to his music, stands at the top of the stage, and then they all like walk down the ramp to Kento's music.
Yeah. And so let's talk about the result of that match again, just because. Well, Soya's going to be challenging for the tag titles now. Is he still probably just eating the pin? Noah doesn't give a fuck. They're just doing whatever they can to get big matches on the show.
I mean, that might be the one, like, interpromotional match where I think there's a chance that actually All Japan is losing this as well, because that way you can continue the whole thing. And
I mean, if
makes more
if
sense,
any of those
like
guys are announced,
one of them is
if any of those guys are announced for the Champion Carnival, then All Japan very well is probably losing that match, right?
Yeah. And I mean, then the question is also, is the Triple Crown champion actually going to be in this match?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a good point too, right? But
yeah, like that's the only thing. But
Yeah,
then
but don't
again,
you
like
want-
if I'm
if you
All Japan, I
crown
want the Triple
champion-
Crown. I want that belt on
Yeah.
the show.
yeah.
Because all of the other major belts are on the show, right?
And Nagata's not on this.
Or are they? No, the KOD title isn't on
but
the show.
All Japan should want their
But-
title on the show.
Yeah, the Dream Gate is there. The Triple Crown as of now is there. Now, obviously, like the Noah and New Japan titles are there.
And the Princess of Princess champion.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So like a lot of like title holders are there, and which is what you should want for the match, like for this as well. Like if you're All Japan, you want to put your best foot forward. Like you put like your main title on the show. Like you have Kento walk out there with the belt because that's the best impression you can give.
Are you surprised? Because this actually just popped into my head right now. Are you surprised that there's not some other older New Japan talent on this show, even in just like undercard tags? People that have teamed with,
Yeah.
they're not of Muto's generation, but they have long known Muto.
I mean, that it is weird that there's not a lot of people on the show that really have a connection to Muto at all.
Yeah.
Because you know who I actually realized is missing from the show? Because Kai is there. Like Kai is like one of the people that actually has a connection with Muto. But you know who's missing from this?
Yeah.
Sanada. Like he's not there at all. Like I assume he's probably gonna be ringside at least to like be in the corner of Naito. But like otherwise, it's very weird that like Sanada's like early career is so just inextricably tied to Keiji Muto that it's weird that he's not on the show, like not even in like a random tag match. Because to me, he's actually a guy that would have made sense as like his final opponent. Even.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you can't run a Tokyo Dome. I don't think you could have run the Tokyo Dome.
No. But like, yeah, it's weird that they never had like a match again. Like, because when was like their last match together? Like, was that still in Wrestle 1 probably?
Yeah. Also,
right? It's no. To be fair, no, they did. Right, I forgot. They had the Wrestle Kingdom match.
no Tana.
But then otherwise, they haven't really like done much together.
No Tanahashi.
No Tanahashi, but that one at least, like they wrapped up that one, like, and I think the way they sold that match as well was like this is gonna be the last time you see these two.
Well, also, did you see Tanahashi saying, if Muto's retiring at 60, I'm gonna wrestle till I'm 61?
I mean, sure, why not? At least his body seems to be in a better condition than Muto's body was at like the same age.
Actually, yes,
so
that's true.
he might actually be able to hold up.
Tanahashi's banged up. That's still very true.
Yeah.
I also took that as a dig at Muto for being a weird, insane man.
Yeah.
Mark for himself.
Well, I mean, you know who might actually also do the Muto thing and who might be in like a similar condition to him when he's retiring? It's his opponent. It's Naito.
That's very true. I still think Muto's knees at 40 years old were worse than Naito's are now.
True, but they're not that far off. And
Also, I guess we should talk about this, but they offered, or allegedly, they approached The Rock's people, and they wanted like $1 billion yen, which is like $7.6 million American.
Yeah. Look, shoot your shot. That's what I'm saying. Worst you can say is no. And if you can get him, it's a massive get.
Also, just some things. Do you see the Goldberg video? That's so funny.
Talking about guys that Noah might make offers to.
Yeah, I wonder who will be in attendance for the retirement. Paul, does Kawada give Muto some flowers? Does Kobashi?
Yeah. I think they're all there.
Bob Sapp?
What's Bob Sapp doing these days?
I have
anyway?
no clue. But Muto always would continue to book Bob Sapp for years after like his star had faded in Japan. Like Bob Sapp was on.
I think Hansen is definitely going to be
there. Yeah, I was
going
to say, you think Hansen will be there?
And otherwise,
one person. Actually, I maybe should have said this earlier. One person that will not be there, unfortunately, is Genichiro Tenryu, who underwent emergency surgery like last week for like a septic shock or something like that. So he's been in.
And that was like his second like emergency surgery because he had to get that bone to like
save his spinal cord. He's been in very poor health, unfortunately. So I don't think he'll be there. Fujinami not being on this show, that's sort of interesting, I suppose.
Yeah.
Noshiro Koshinaka.
Chono will be there. Would very much
Chono did like a video too. So I assume he'll be there. Hase got heat for wrestling. So I would.
He might send in like a video sitting at his desk, being like, "Oh, I'm so busy with my work right now, but I wanted to send you a video at least."
Who else? Well, Sting did his thing.
Flair
might send a message. I don't think Flair's.
I think Flair will send. I don't think Flair's flying to Japan. Yeah, I think he's just gonna send a message.
Who else is there even? Takada.
Yeah, I think he'll be there.
I'd say Maeda, but they never really were like connected that much.
No.
I always fascinated by who Kensuke.
Oh yeah. I mean, he will be there. Like, I think he will not just be there for the Keiji Muto match. I think he will also be there for the.
I know we talked about it.
Like for Kento and.
I know we talked
Katsuhiko.
about them doing an angle, but they got to at least do a camera shot of like Kensuke and Akira Hokuto sitting in the audience, right, during that match.
I think they're going to be on commentary. Actually.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Or maybe Fujinami's on like commentary for the like Naito versus Muto. Oh, Chono probably will be actually.
Yeah, Chono will be on commentary for that one. I think that one, like, I think Kobashi might be as well. Because both of them have done, like, commentary guest spots. And remember, wasn't Chono there with, like, M's Alliance, right?
Oh, yeah. That's right. But he never, like, followed that up. He just disappeared. No Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah.
Because he was in All Japan for a while.
Like, the more we, like, talk about it, the more I'm, like, surprised that this card isn't just a parade of old guys.
Yeah. You could have literally just done it a parade of old guys in the undercard.
Yeah, and they didn't do that, so I assume they're like gonna come out and they're gonna have like a flower ceremony for Muto after he loses.
Yeah. No, I mean, with the except the only like they managed to get most of their guys. The only real mind-boggling thing from the cyber fight end is no Higuchi or Hino, I suppose, since now he's the KOD champion. Yeah. Which I suppose is strange, but and no Rene Dupree.
Yeah, no Rene Dupree.
So yeah, I can't really think of. There's probably someone I'm forgetting. I'm like, well, will they at least be in attendance there? But I don't know. So I think that's it.
I mean, actually, will Daichi be there?
Oh yeah. Maybe, but he's unfortunately can't get on the show. He's going to have to give him flowers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think they might do like a thing where it's like Daichi holds up a photo of his dad, and then him, Muto, and Chono take a picture.
Oh yeah, that could be very true. But like, if you're Daichi, aren't you like, oh, I can't even get on like some 8-man in the undercard?
I mean, probably, but if I'm Daichi, I'm looking at this card and I'm like, I don't even know what he's doing in Big Japan right now.
He's not really doing anything.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
He's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
the tag champion.
So, like,
he's not
Yeah.
a singles champion. He's spinning his wheel. Well, I mean, I'm not really watching Big Japan, but he's from looking at reading. I do read all the results, and he seems to be just spinning his wheels.
Yeah, exactly. So like, if I'm him, then I'm like, yeah, okay, that's why I'm not getting. If like they don't have a spot for Fujinami,
Oh, yeah,
definitely not having a spot for
Yeah.
Daichi Hashimoto.
Yeah, that's very true. It's sort of funny that way, but or no Taka, because he's
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's
You
weird
know,
that there's like all of these
people
like
you could.
guys that have direct connections with Muto that are not booked. Tajiri isn't there either.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, but Tajiri should have been on the Muto retirement show. It was weird that he wasn't
Yeah.
there.
Well, maybe nobody likes Tajiri.
Yeah, I think just from based on how his career's gone, I don't know, like I've never heard anything about Tajiri being kind of like a guy that like doesn't get along with people.
He was
just
all over
based
the
on
place,
fact that like his bookings seem to
He was
shrink.
in New Japan when, like, this is after he left WWE.
Yeah.
He's in New Japan, or was he not? Did he go, like, because I know he was in New Japan for a bit, not contract or anything, but he worked at, he was doing some New Japan shows, but was it All Japan first and then New Japan?
Yeah.
Or was
Let's see. He went to All Japan
Okay.
first, yeah.
and then New Japan, and then
Yeah, and well, but it was like mainly Hustle first,
yeah,
obviously.
and then he got some. I think some of the people behind Smash and Wrestling New Classic were Hustle also backers.
Yeah,
And those imploded. And then he ended up in Wrestle One. And then that,
Yeah.
whatever. Although Muto had checked out by that point, I think. You know,
yeah.
he was like the figurehead president. And then in All Japan, right? So he just, I mean, it's, you know, I could feel like he maybe doesn't have that many friends.
Yeah, no, it does.
Even
feel
though,
like that.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. But, no Tenzon. Well, the man can even wrestle. Well, he can. Yeah, it's just interesting who's not on the show.
And Kojima. No, Kojima is on the show. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the only
Yeah,
one.
it's sort of funny that way, right? So, yeah, I'm sort of interested to see if I mentioned him earlier, but like Kawada, because I'm like I could see Kawada being like, I don't want to have anything to do with that man.
I guess it depends how much money they offer him to at least.
I don't know.
show up
Are they
and hand
paying
over
these
some
people
flowers.
to come out and give him flowers, hand him flowers?
I mean, at least like some like nominal appearance fee, right?
Yeah, but he could be serving dinner at his ramen restaurant.
Yeah, true.
Which is also the same thing, like, you know, because, you know, Muto being the character, like, I know that he kept bringing Stan Hansen back to Japan for many years as the PWF president, but, like, Hansen, I don't know, I don't have any clue with, I don't think Hansen, I read Hansen's autobiography, he didn't say anything bad about Muto, but I got the impression, he's like, oh, I was thankful that they flew me back and gave me money, but I don't think he, you know.
He was like, yeah, it's not like I really wanted to. I was like desperate to do that. I was like happy staying retirement, but they were offering me money, so I'm like, sure,
so
why
come
not?
and do these appearances. So it'd just be interesting, like maybe.
Yeah.
But then again, I feel like Hansen would probably take the money. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, absolutely. but-
So that will be interesting to see. I love the retirement ceremonies when it's like 1 billion people from all different companies and eras and everything.
Especially for this
Yeah.
one, it's gonna be. You just know it's.
Someone's
gonna
going to be.
Oh, actually, is the ICP gonna be there?
Oh my God! Yeah, Vampiro.
Yeah,
Is Vampiro getting
the whole Dark
is
Carnival.
Vampiro getting on a flight to Japan?
Is Dale Torbo going to be there?
Yeah, like I just love those retirements, and someone probably won't be there, and we'll all speculate if they hate each other.
Why
you
not?
know.
Yeah.
So that is the big show. I have to say, I mean, given all of the angles and just given the historical moment that it is, I mean, I'm probably more excited for the show than I have been for any other show in a long time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm really
I've already
excited for this
purchased
one.
the
I think this has the
pay-per-view.
potential to be.
Actually, I just
Yeah?
went ahead and did it. Well, actually, as soon as they announced that 6-man, I was like, I gotta buy this show.
No. Oh yeah, no, I probably will buy it as well. So
And I don't know my schedule next week, but if I can fit in time, we should just record an episode dedicated to the show, because it's a
yeah, like right after. Yeah, let's see.
yeah, maybe I don't know if I could do it even right after, but we'll see. But maybe that week at least. So that's something to look forward to, because I think it deserves its own show. It's a monumental moment. Oh wait, and then the All Japan shows this weekend too.
Exactly. We also have potentially in All Japan. We also potentially have a Triple Crown title change.
Anyway, well, all things considered, my voice has held up, but it's beginning to fade. I can feel like that tingling in my throat that I've been talking too much.
No, yeah, go take some long scenes. And
yeah,
get some
exactly. So we'll be back sometime, hopefully next week, to talk about the All Japan Korakuen and the Muto retirement show. It's funny that we're finally at this point, given how long he dragged this one out.
But the end is in sight. The end is near.
Yeah, exactly. So for Paul Vosh, I'm Gerard DeTroyo, and we'll see you very soon.